Hey, Dan Garfield of Codefresh, how are you?
Great. How you doing, Alex?
You've been eating pancakes here.
Mostly waffles.
Mostly waffles.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about pancakes.
Yeah. They do them for dinner. They don't do them for breakfast. Because I'm at the news stack and I was thinking, you have to do your pancake cook in the evening. Yeah.
I saw your T-shirt and I thought of one of my favorite songs from last year. Do you know that song, Ocean Man?
Wishing Man? No.
Ocean Man?
Ocean Man.
Ocean Man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land, land, land. Ocean Man. How else does it go? The voyage to the corner is a real trip, 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 trip. I think it's like the.
It's a song about Argo?
No, it's about sea creatures and about SpongeBob.
Oh, okay.
I think it's from the SpongeBob movie. That's what I was told, at least. Ocean Man.
Yeah, Ocean
and like
Man.
so, I could just see a squid going, "Ocean Man, take me by the hand," kind of that thing.
Well, someone yesterday asked me about the Argo shirt, and they said, "Where do I get this Astro Squid?" And I thought, Astro Squid,
Astro
yes.
Squid, yes. That's what we should call it. So I want to hear about Astro Squid. I want to hear about Codefresh. I want to hear about what's new in Argo.
What's new in Argo? Oh boy, geez. Well, we're getting ready to ship Argo 2.7.
Okay.
We have a release candidate out right now. We also just announced in Argo that we have SLSA 3 compliance.
Oh, that's a big deal. So tell people what SLSA 3 is, because a lot of people don't know. What
Yeah,
SLSA
so
is.
this is for supply chain security.
Yeah.
And basically it verifies that when your artifacts are built, that you have controls in place, that you're signing images so you can verify them. And I think Argo is the first project in the CNCF to have SLSA Level 3 compliance. And huge shout out to the Chain Guard guys, because they came and really helped us make this happen in Argo, and they made it happen. And so yeah, SLSA 3 basically means that now anybody that's deploying Argo can check the verification on these images and make sure that they were signed by the project, they were created in our CI system, and they weren't manipulated in any way.
Awesome. So is there a big jump with the latest version of Argo to previous versions of Argo?
We tend to be fairly incremental with the features that we're adding, and you'll see things like in 2.6 we introduced a feature that's called progressive sync. That is basically a way to use application sets to organize deployments to like one region, then to another region. So this is a very new feature. We also introduced multi-source app. So I wouldn't say that they're necessarily like catastrophically different things, but they're things that if you've been using Argo, they're like the most highly requested features.
So what are we going to look at today?
So today I was going to show you the enterprise version of Argo that Codefresh delivers.
Okay, cool.
So if you're familiar with Codefresh, we launched, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. We built a CI/CD platform, and with Argo, we became one of the first outside maintainers from Intuit. And so we launched commercial version of Argo about 6 months later. So we've been doing enterprise Argo longer than anybody else. We've been doing it in more companies than anybody else. We've thousands of companies we've helped adopt Argo.
Right.
So yeah, today I'm going to show you what that looks like.
Hey.
All right. So if you've used, here I've got Argo CD. This is a simple, the community version that you're used to seeing. You can see I'm running 2.6. And so you've got your tiles of applications. Codefresh is going to be a little bit different. So you're going to see I've got a very similar view of my application tiles. Now, some of the differences that are going to exist right off the bat, first, I have a lot more filtering capabilities. Second, I'm looking at applications from multiple Argo instances. So this is actually giving me a single view to many Argo instances, so you have aggregation. And then it also calls out what type of application they are. So if it's an application set, if it's a Git source app, which is a parent app, if it's a regular application, et cetera. So let's drill down on one of these really quick, and you're going to be able to see some other differences. Now, if you're using Argo CD, you're going to recognize this view right away. Looks very similar to what you have in the community version. But in Codefresh, you have everything you have in the community versions, plus a lot of other features that are going to help you out. So if we look in the timeline view, this is something that we introduced as a concept, which is the ability to look at a timeline of deployments that have happened over time. So for example,
why'd you do that?
Well, in Argo CD, you can see what's currently running, and you can look through the logs to see what's happened in the past. But that's
a lot of work.
That's a lot of work, and you have to correlate information. So our users wanted to be able to say, like, I had a regression that started around 10 a.m. this morning or 8 a.m. this morning. So I can just jump into my release timeline and say, okay, well, what changed at that time? And I'm going to get all the information right there. So this is another difference with the community version. If I'm just looking at a release, now in Argo CD, again, I can only look at what's happening right now. I can't go back and look at what happened in the past, but with Codefresh I can. It's going to give me a commit SHA that shows me what changed in my manifests. Now this is really useful if you've changed a lot in your manifests, but it's useless 95% of the time because all you did is update an image. So what we do is in Codefresh, we actually monitor which images were updated, and we tag these, and then we take this image information, and just like with Salsa, we actually track the source of all images, and we add a lot of metadata to them. So we extract this metadata and we show, oh, well, when this was deployed, these were the JIRA issues that were being worked on. These are the pull requests that were being that were actually merging the code for these images, and these are the CI pipelines that actually built it. These are the committers who actually worked on this. And so I get all the information back to the application level, not just the ops level. So it really helps you get a lot deeper. Now, let's say we're going to go the other direction. So I'm going to go to my images view here, and this is going to show me all my currently running images in my platform. You can see I have the different environments here. Let's click on this rollouts demo image, and you can see this one's currently in QA and staging, but it hasn't made it to production. That's what this previous image. If we jump into this image, I'm going to get all the metadata that I had from my image already that was exposed in my GitOps dashboard view. If I click on the workflow, I'm going to be able to see the pipeline that's currently executing. And in this case, this is doing a QA to staging to prod promotion, and you can see it's looking for a manual approval. There are a lot of reasons that you might want to have approvals. Compliance is not the least of them.
Right.
This integrates with ServiceNow. This integrates with your LDAP and single sign-on, so you can specify teams that can give approvals, that kind of thing. In this case, for the demo, it's going to automatically approve it in a few minutes and promote this image. It's going to make a Git commit and push that to actually operate the changes. If you were using something like Image Updater, you could use an approval with an image promotion step as well, something like that.
What's the pain point that you're trying to solve here?
So the issue is that Argo CD by itself solves a really critical deployment problem, but to manipulate manifests, to handle environments and their promotion, that's out of scope of Argo CD. So to have a CI/CD pipeline that fully integrates with Argo CD is very useful because you can streamline the rest of the equation.
So what do you integrate with then?
So Codefresh is a CI/CD provider, but if you're coming with Jenkins pipelines or GitHub Actions, those also are integrations that we have, so you can expose that information. But the provenance is the other issue, because if you have something that's currently deployed, you don't necessarily know where it came from. That's the whole Salsa thing, the whole supply chain security thing. So Codefresh solves that by surfacing all that information right away, so that you always know exactly where everything came from, what changes have actually made it into production. And if I'm a developer, so there's an ops use case, but if I'm a developer and I want to know, I made a code change, is it in production? How would I figure that out if I'm just using Argo CD and just using, CI/CD? It's complex for me to do that. In Codefresh's case, I've updated my Jira ticket, I've updated my pull request, I can see the environments are available there, so I can see it's made it into production. So it allows developers to follow their code where it goes, and it allows operations to follow the code where it came from.
That's a platform engineering story in many ways, isn't it?
Yeah, platform engineering story. I mean, I think this is like a lot of people that come to Codefresh have tried to build something like this internally, and it's not working really well. And so we got together a whole bunch of people from different companies. We put together something that learns from all of them. That's the idea.
Awesome, Dan. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on all the major social media platforms. You can always find us at thenewstack.io. We hope to see you soon.